All right, GM builders, like, can I get a quick show of hands? How many devs do we have in the audience right now? All right, all right, GM to you and GM to everyone else too. Uh, but yeah, like, what I'm going to talk now is about how to bring developer identity on chain. So, of course, what we define as builders in like how devfolio defines is that, like, of course a dev is a builder by default, but that doesn't mean like designers and others aren't. But the focus of today's talk will be how to get devs on board, their identity on chain, and then we'll focus on certain other demographics. So quickly going through this. So, I mean, by now, I'm sure you must have heard of Devfolio. We put together hackathons, fellowship, grant programs, and more. We have a hackathon this weekend, which you might have heard about. It's ETH India, which we are putting together with our friends at ETH Global. Um, However, this is something that has been, resonated closely with us. We have been trying to figure out how more we can help devs just beyond, organizing ephemeral initiatives to get developers on board to Web3. Beyond that, what can we do, right? So we started off with this problem, and then we realized we uncovered a whole rabbit hole of things. And in the scope of future of work, like almost every dev I've spoken with, like they agree that developer identity is kind of fragmented. I mean, GitHub, I mean, sure, GitHub is great, but does GitHub give you an entire picture of your skills as a dev? Not really, right? LinkedIn, like most devs are spoken to, they don't only care about LinkedIn when like there's a recruiter who's asking to update their LinkedIn at the last moment, and then so on and so forth, right? The issue with all of these is that a lot of these records, other than GitHub, of course, are subjective and claim based. They are sort of weak connections, and in terms of ethos, they're also extractive. What can we do to make these verified, immutable, and on chain? How can we forge like stronger connections, have sort of a referral based network, and put on ownership back to the devs, right? So that's the problem statement that we thought about, and that's the future we would like to work towards. And this is like a little more context on what challenges are faced by opportunity providers right now. Right now, proof of work of devs is not really like digestible. A lot of platforms are focused on competitive programming, and they don't really like. I mean, if you have like a great top tal, or you have a great top coder, or you have a great um, hacker rank profile, I mean that works, yes, but that only proves that you're really good at doing DSA stuff. It means that you might be good at optimization problems, but are you really good at just building stuff, right? That's not easily understandable for many proof of work platform as of now. um, how do you like aggregate proof of work beyond all of these things? That's something that opportunity providers do not have any one single source of truth. So in that way, we imagine Devfolio to be that one single source of truth, where you can add in all your hackathons, your fellowships, projects. You can combine that data with on-chain activity, and I'll get to how we are doing that to provide a more cohesive outlook to opportunity providers. Okay, so how are we doing that? So a big shout out to EAS, which are like really critical to a lot of infrastructure that we have been experimenting with. One of the first things that we built with EAS earlier this year was quadratic voting. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the concept of quadratic voting. It's just like imagine quadratic funding, the same thing that you see on Gitcoin, and yeah, imagine taking that and like then just adding a layer of voting towards it, right? I could quickly show you the dashboard. I just don't want to lose access to this. But okay, all right, I have it here. So if you see here that this is the quadratic voting dashboard that we did for a hackathon earlier this year. We had a matching pool of $10,000. And if you see here, there are certain votes that people have gotten. And like, for example, this project has got $968 through out of this pool of 10,000, and that is through the 1079 votes that they have received in a quadratic manner. So that's how the votes are taken in from the participants in a quadratic manner, and they are put on chain using EAS. And then we use that to make our calculations. The beauty is of this solution is that anybody can verify these calculations without having to depend on Devfolio. So that is something interesting that we thought was cool, and we built that. And just give me a minute. All right. Something else that we built after that was on-chain creds. Now on every hackathon that's on Devfolio, you can give out on-chain creds. What this means, these are soul-bound tokens. Soul-bound tokens are a form of NFTs which cannot be transferred to others. But what that does is that verifiably proves that you attended a hackathon or won a prize without having to depend on your credential on just Ffolio. So this is your, for example, this is like the NFTs that we did for ETH Barcelona, and this is how like they are on chain. So for example, this person got this SBT for building the Time5 project at ETH Barcelona. And this is intimately linked with their identity, rather it being something that you can view only on Devfolio. What else? We've also built a sort of a tipping slash encouragement sort of mechanism using Ethereum, which we like to call cheer. And that's quite interesting in what it does is that if you see here, I can like buy cheers for these projects, and these cheers are like split between like different values of ETH that I can buy. And what's interesting is that as soon as I buy this and add it to my cart and I like complete the transaction, um, it's not only the amount that goes to the builder, but it's also the on-chain. It's also an on-chain credential that that a builder is publicly vouching for you. And imagine how powerful that is. So for example, for this builder, Weber, who's in like a very well-known builder in the ecosystem, vouched for this project. And then you can see that this project, this is an attestation that's generated, and this is on-chain. So Weber has on-chain like vouched for this project. And this can be very powerful in like the future whenever like these builders are like, let's say, looking to raise or looking for any other sort of identity to get them opportunities. So these are like kind of the experiments that we have been up to over the past few months. Yeah, looking ahead to get all of them together, and very soon like you'll be able to showcase all of these things on your Devfolio ID.
Namaste. Actually, we are from Century University and we have faculty over there. We teach some blockchain courses. My question is that as for building a blockchain dApp, there are multiple ways are there. So someone is building in Solidity, someone is building in some other code, programming languages. So what is the standardized way to, if student want to learn some course or if we want to implement some courses, so what will be the standards? And what will be the easiest thing, how they can start from?
Like there's no standard answer for this. Like I just have a favorite. Like I think the best resource, to be honest, to learn about Ethereum at least is the ethereum.org website. You can like curate a curriculum out of there. The other great resources also, I don't know if you've heard of Biddle Giddle. It's like a source resource by Austin Griffith. So that is also a really great tool that can be used. And yeah, just those things are really great to get started with. But other than that, like happy to figure out like if you want some help with curating some coursework, happy to figure out like
Uh,
offline.
One small doubt. This will be the last thing we're
Sure.
asking. Even as we have seen NPTEL courses also from IITs, basically they are forcing. They have a lot of courses on Hyperledger, and most of that we have fight also in most of the blockchain community. Not fight, argument. The most of thing they think private blockchains are not blockchain. So what's your thought about it?
Clearly I am a bit biased towards public blockchains. Not to say that Hyperledger and others might not have value. I think they have value for certain enterprise use cases where those enterprises, they want to control every bit of the network. But even then, I think like efforts like Polygon, like I think they're doing like subnets and stuff like that. Or is it called supernet, something like that? So that those can be like also used for these purposes. um, but like the key thing about public blockchains is that every bit is composable and can be verified by anybody easily on chain. So that is the key part of putting the data on chain in the first place, and you're kind of giving that up with if you don't have that composability. So
True, true.
yeah, I think that's, but it's just interesting to see like what use cases emerge. uh, like overall, I think like everybody, like there's no good predictor of what technology will take off. What's interesting is also I know that NPCI is also looking into
Yes.
Hyperledger.
Yes.
That's also quite interesting. Would be interesting if they want to like eventually explore things on the public blockchain side also. But yeah, I think Polygon and folks are working on efforts in that.